Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining again. This is Alisha with the Sub Hub, and we are with Crafters Wholesale Superstore. Today we will be making a 20-ounce tumbler in our convection oven. I did show you previously how to make one in a tumbler press, and you can go back and watch that video on my channel. But today we are going to be using a convection oven. So I am going to go over the material needed before you go ahead and get started. Some people have different methods. This is the method that works for me best, okay? So of course I just have my pair of scissors. I have a nice pick here. This is to help remove the shrink wrap and the tape. I have 2 silicone bands. Okay, my heat glove, sublimation heat tape, shrink wrap for 20-ounce tumblers. I have my transfer. I have a heat gun, and this is from Harbor Freight. And then I have my handy dandy pinch tool, and I will be showing you guys how to use this as well. Okay. The convection oven that I'm using is the oyster oven. You can use any oven that says convection on it, okay? And just so you know, I have already used this previously, and I have already noticed that if I do turn it to convection, which is what you need, I know I need to have it at 350 externally, and I will be putting the tumbler in there for 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So I did make a little sticky note here just so I remember. I also have my bucket of water, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Before I get started, I just wanna show you guys an example of what ghosting is so you can know what to look for and what is not wanted on a tumbler. So this tumbler has a lot of ghosting, as you can tell here. The color did not infuse all the way. It has a white fainted line. The top has ghosting as well. Yes, the middle part is really good with color, but the pressure, the amount of pressure here was tighter than up here. Okay, so when you're making a tumbler, you do not want these lines, okay? So I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks on how to prevent that from happening. So down below, I'm going to link our website for our sublimation items. So we do have 20-ounce white tumblers. We do have plenty of other type of tumblers, and the steps are the same in making them. The only thing that will change is for the glass tumblers, and I will be making videos on those later down the road, okay? So our tumblers come in this plastic bag. They come with the lid, of course, and a straw, a plastic straw. So what I do first, I always inspect my tumbler to make sure there's no problems, no scratches, and they all come with this sticker down here, and I like removing that, okay? So you can remove it by hand or with your pick. I just don't like having that there because some people, if you are selling these as a small business, they like to put instructions here with their logo, okay? So my tumbler is good to go. So the first thing first is when you have your when you are making a print for your tumbler and you do not know what size, I do like having my little measuring tape here. So what I do is, like previously in the other video, I like putting the tape at the top at 0, taking it down, and as you can tell there, 8 inches, I would say 8.2 or 8.15, okay? Always write that down so you know what size to put your height at. Then I take it at the middle, and I go ahead and take note of measurement there. I would say 9.25, 9.24, okay? And then you go ahead and print out your design. This is going to be, the height is going to be 8.2. That's what I printed at because I know I have some room when cutting. And then the width is going to be 9.25, okay? So when you order custom transfers from us, we leave it with a white border, and then you have to just go in and trim the corners, okay? So what I'm gonna go ahead and do now is show you guys how to wrap the tumbler properly. I just see that my paper is a little uneven down here. Okay, So what I like doing is using my pinch tool for this method. What I go ahead and do is I first place my paper around, place my pinch tool, okay, and I squeeze tight. You like to make sure that the paper overlaps, or if it's the exact size, you make sure they're right up to each other, because if your paper doesn't match up or have a small overlap, it will cause that ghosting line that we've seen previously on this tumbler. You see? So you have to make sure you have a good line, okay, at the where the paper meets. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do, as I'm holding my pinch tool nice and tight, I start off at the top, and like I said, this is a method I use. I've always used this, and I've been sublimating for about 3.5 years now. Okay, so I go ahead and place my tape, and I like to hook it around. Then I'm going to work my way down, making sure to overlap it, okay? It's just easier to remove that way. And I move my pinch tool, pinch again nice and tight. This pinch tool is really nice because, like I said, it makes sure that you do not lose grip, and it makes sure that you do not have any spacing between your paper. Okay, my last one here. Okay, and as you can tell, my paper is nice and firm, okay? So once this is done, the next step will be applying the shrink wrap. Okay, so with the shrink wrap, of course, you need the heat gun. And what I like doing is taking my hand, opening it up there, and then I go ahead and just place it on top, slide it down. So this shrink wrap does have small cuts here. This is where you could tear it easily. Some people like putting it on the tape, but I don't on the tape line because sometimes the shrink wrap can burst open inside the convection oven, causing if you overlap it, it will cause the tape to lift up, which will cause a ghosting effect, which you do not want, okay? So I go ahead and put this in the center. I'm gonna put my heat glove on, hold it in my left hand, then I'm gonna take my heat gun on high, and I like working from the center up and down, okay? When I rotate it, making sure it is nice and tight. Not too tight, but nice and tight. Okay, so once I apply my shrink wrap, the next thing I like doing, some people have bigger silicone bands, but I have these. This size works for me. So I take one and I place it at the top of the tumbler. Just like that, right at the top. This helps make sure that there is no ghosting at the top or bottom as well, okay? And then flip it over and do the same thing for the bottom. Okay, there we go. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is my convection oven is already preheated. Like I said, externally it's 350. You can measure it internally because you want it closer to 380, 385. Okay, I know my internal temperature is around that because I have a thermometer that goes inside of here. Okay, you usually do not want it to exceed 400 because then it will cause the tumbler to burn. Okay, If this is your first time in your convection oven, just know sometimes it does take a couple of tries before you get the exact temperature and time. Every convection oven is different. Also, once you start using your convection oven for sublimation, I highly do not recommend using it for food because the chemicals released into it can be released into your food, okay? So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to adjust my timer. Like I said, for this oven, I like doing 5 minutes and 15 seconds roughly. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. Okay, and then I place my tumbler standing up halfway through. I rotate it and then let it finish, okay? Once I am closer to I'm gonna go ahead and do this part, and once I'm closer to the end of the timer, I'm gonna go ahead and come back to you guys so you guys can see the rest of the process. Okay guys, we got about 10 seconds left on here. So what I would like to do is right when I remove this from the oven, I'm going to put it directly into my bucket of water here, okay? So this, what it does is it stops the heating process instantly, and this is only for tumblers that are not glass, because if you were to do this with glass, it would crack instantly, okay? Okay. Okay, so it is all cool. Like I said, it only takes a few seconds. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is remove my silicone bands and remove my shrink wrap. This is why I like having my pick here, just in case I need to use it. So I just lift up the tape, peel straight down, and then I can go ahead and remove my paper and shrink wrap all in one. And we are all done. This came out amazing. Okay, I'm gonna dry it up here, and then I'm gonna show you guys the finished product. Okay, so as you can see here, we have no ghosting whatsoever at the top and no ghosting whatsoever at the bottom. So, and then our seam, let me see if I could find our seam. Oh, it's right here. The only reason why I know is because this flower is a little oddly shaped, but you cannot see a line. I'm trying to get it away from this glare. Hold on one second. Okay. You see, there's no seam, no ghosting, nothing. Okay, so the key to using a convection oven and getting that tight grip is the pinch tool, which we do have on our website, the silicone bands, and the shrink wrap. Okay, like I said, other people have other methods. I've been doing this for 3+ years, and this is the method that works for me. Okay, making sure you stop the heating process is important as well, because if you take it out and let it sit, it still bakes. That temperature is still extremely hot. Okay, so putting it right from the oven to the cooling stops the heating process, and you have an amazing tumbler like this. Okay, if you guys have any questions or comments, please comment below. I will be linking our website, our store location. Like I said, this is Alicia with the Sub Hub, and we are with Crafters Wholesale Superstore in Parma, Ohio. And I will be coming back to you guys soon with another great video. Bye.